Every organization or group that I know of right now is having trouble thinking about the future. We just don't have enough information to make good decisions, and so that makes meetings harder, and people have different opinions about how we ought to proceed and what we should be prioritizing, and things are just a little bit tense when you start thinking about going forward, and when you're doing that with a bunch of people, it makes it that much harder. The Bible camp that I'm associated with out at Knossi Lake is not immune to that sort of thing. We've got 9 people on a board, and we're trying to figure out how to go forward. And just in that process, because we don't have enough information, sometimes we have tense meetings and discussions about which way we should go. People disagree once in a while, and we had a meeting like that on Saturday. In fact, it went 6.5 hours, believe it or not. And at times it was kind of tense, and people had differing thoughts. And so after the meeting ended, which in fact I thought ended quite well, I thought somebody's going to write to me. I'm the chairman of the board. I braced myself for somebody writing me to give me their evaluation of what we did. Somebody was going to write and complain about something, or somebody was going to write and say what they didn't like, because there were just some things that weren't all agreed on easily. Didn't take long, though. By the next morning, one of our members had written to everyone. And as I opened the email, I thought, what's this going to say? And while I was bracing for something bad, I found something beautiful. This lady on our board wrote an email to everyone about our meeting the previous day. But she didn't write to complain, and she didn't write to say what she didn't like. In fact, what she did was she listed everyone's name, and beside each person's name she said, "Thank you for doing this. I appreciate that you dedicated so much time to that. I'm thankful for how you acted in this meeting when this happened." And she wrote a letter of appreciation to each of us. And when I looked at that, I thought, that is beautiful. And that is real leadership. We tend to think that leaders are the ones who see the problems and sort people out and fix things and lead the charge. And yet, I think leadership has a lot more to do with treating people well. The Apostle Paul said that. He dealt with a church in the city of Corinth, a church that had lots of different problems. And he did sort out their issues. He wrote them 2 letters trying to sort things out. But it's the attitude with which he did it that I want you to notice. He says in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 8, which is what we're going to read, and again in 2 Corinthians 13, verse 10, he says this. Paul says, I have some authority to sort things out. I am the leader. I've got the approval of God to do things and make things run. But he says this, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 8, he says, even if I have authority from the Lord, here's what he says, I'm going to use it for building you up rather than pulling you down. I'm going to use it for building you up rather than pulling you down. Which is exactly what that lady on my board did. She may not have agreed with everything that was done, but you know what she did? She looked around and said, my job isn't to discourage you or to nitpick or to complain. My job is to look for the good. And that's what she did. And again, I thought it was beautiful. And then I thought, I could do that too. So could you. So here's your challenge for today. Right as soon as this video ends, don't leave this, because 4 days later you'll still be thinking, oh yeah, I still need to do that. So take advantage of the next 30 seconds after this video ends and do something for me. Would you take up the challenge of building someone up? I'd like to encourage you to write a letter, write an email, send a text, call somebody if you really want to be brave and say it to them. But I'd love for you to be part of the process that says, I'm here to build you up, not pull you down. Write to someone. Pick someone. Pick someone that you don't normally talk to or don't normally go and compliment. It's easy to compliment maybe your son or daughter or your friend. Maybe pick someone else that you admire something in but maybe haven't told them. And write them a short note. Again, it's going to take you 30 seconds at the most. You don't have to write a book, but just write something short. Here's the key though, be very specific. Don't just write to someone and say, hey Bobby, I really like you, you're a nice guy. That's fine, but it's not as good as saying, hey Bobby, I remember when you drove my kids to hockey and went out of your way to look after them. That was really cool, thank you. Or whatever, something really specific. That Bobby remembers that he did, maybe. That Bobby can say, oh yeah, I did do that. That was kind of good of me, wasn't it? Someone appreciated that. You see, we can be part of the process, and unless we choose to build people up, we will pull them down. Our tendency is to look for the bad. You just have to watch the news to know that, or be on social media, go to the coffee shop. We like to complain. Can we choose to be on the other side? Can we choose to say, this is what I see that you did that I appreciate and love? Can we build someone up instead of tearing them down? Can you take 30 seconds to do that? Your 30 seconds will make someone's day. Build someone up. You've got 30 seconds. Start now.